On December 9, 2023, a Reddit user named Burger Truth Seeker posted a side-by-side comparison that would eventually cost someone millions of dollars. On the left, a screenshot from August 2022 showing a MrBeast Burger Instagram post with 47,000 likes and hundreds of comments calling the food inedible. On the right, a 404 error page. The post had vanished. Not archived, not edited, deleted. Within 6 hours, the Reddit thread had 89,000 upvotes and a single question echoing through the comments: what is he hiding? The answer, as it turns out, is everything. Because when you're Jimmy Donaldson, the most subscribed individual creator on YouTube, with 286 million followers and a brand worth an estimated $1.5 billion, you don't just sell burgers, you sell the illusion of perfection. And when that illusion cracks, you don't fix it, you erase it. Let's rewind to December 19, 2020, a Saturday. Jimmy Donaldson sat in his North Carolina studio filming what he thought would be a quick promotional video. "We're launching a restaurant," he said into the camera, grinning in that rehearsed, hyper-caffeinated way that made him famous. MrBeast Burger, 300 locations, tomorrow. The concept was simple, almost elegant in its cynicism. Partner with a company called Virtual Dining Concepts. No brick and mortar, no employees, no overhead. BDC would license his name and face to existing restaurants, ghost kitchens operating out of the back of Chili's franchises, and struggling diners. They'd slap his logo on Cisco-grade frozen patties, bag them, and ship them out via DoorDash. Jimmy would take a cut, estimated 5% per order, without ever touching raw meat or a fryer. By noon the next day, December 20th, the app had crashed 4 times. Over 400,000 orders flooded in within the first week, $1 million in revenue in 72 hours. According to a press release VDC sent to Bloomberg, Jimmy posted a video of himself eating his own burger, calling it actually incredible. His comment section exploded with hype. This wasn't food. It was a parasocial transaction. His fans weren't buying a burger. They were buying proximity to him. But here's what he didn't say in that video. Virtual Dining Concepts was founded in 2020 by Robert Earl, a 74-year-old British restaurateur with a history of ambitious failures. Earl had previously launched Planet Hollywood with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in 1991, a chain that filed for bankruptcy in 1999 owing $200 million. He tried again with Buca di Beppo, an Italian chain that collapsed into debt restructuring in 2008. BDC was his third act, a pandemic-era Hail Mary built on a single bet, that influencers could sell anything if their face was on it. Jimmy wasn't VDC's first partner. They'd already signed deals with YouTuber Marques Brownlee for a tech-themed wing spot and rapper Tyga for a chicken tender brand called Tyga Bites, both of which launched with modest buzz and faded within months. But Jimmy was different. His audience wasn't niche. It was everyone. Kids, teens, parents who wanted to impress their kids. By March 2021, MrBeast Burger had expanded to 1,000 locations across North America. Jimmy tweeted the milestone with a fire emoji. Wall Street Journal ran a puff piece calling it the future of celebrity dining. Nobody asked the obvious question. If you're outsourcing production to 1,000 random kitchens with zero quality control, what happens when the food is terrible? The first cracks appeared on Twitter in January 2021, less than a month after launch. A user named Asked Chris Eats Stuff posted a photo of a MrBeast burger with the caption, "Paid $17 for this. Bun is soggy. Meat is gray. This is a scam." The tweet got 340 retweets. Jimmy didn't respond. 2 weeks later, a TikTok from Hungry Hannah showed her biting into a burger, gagging, and spitting it into a napkin. "This tastes like it was microwaved in a prison," she said. 1.2 million views. Still no response. By April, a pattern emerged. Customers on Reddit's r/MrBeast subreddit began posting evidence. Burgers with ice-cold centers, fries drenched in so much oil they were translucent. Orders that arrived 2 hours late and leaked through the bag. One user in Tampa, Florida, posted a photo of a burger with a hair baked into the cheese. "I paid $14 and waited 90 minutes for this," he wrote. The post had 12,000 upvotes. Jimmy's team didn't comment. They didn't apologize. They didn't offer refunds. They stayed silent. Because the money was too good. By June 2021, MrBeast Burger had generated an estimated $70 million in sales, according to an internal VDC document later leaked to The Verge. Jimmy's cut at 5% would have been $3.5 million in 6 months. For context, that's more than most independent restaurants make in a decade. And he did it without owning a single oven. But the complaints kept coming. A Facebook group called MrBeast Burger Victims grew to 4,700 members, all sharing horror stories. One woman in Ohio claimed she got food poisoning and had to go to the ER, posting a photo of her hospital bracelet with the caption, "Thanks, Jimmy." Another user in Texas said his order arrived with someone else's burger inside. The receipt still attached with a stranger's name. The subreddit began tracking patterns. It turned out that most MrBeast burgers were being made inside Bally's Sports Grill locations, a failing chain that VDC had partnered with as a bulk operator. The kitchens were overwhelmed. Line cooks making $11 an hour were suddenly expected to pump out 300 burgers a shift while also handling the regular menu. They didn't care. Why would they? Jimmy's logo didn't pay their rent. And here's where it gets darker. In August 2021, a former employee of a New Jersey ghost kitchen posted an anonymous confession on Reddit. "I worked at a place making MrBeast burgers for 3 months," he wrote. "We were told to use frozen patties from a box labeled, 'Not for resale, institutional use only.' The buns came in plastic sleeves, pre-sliced, and half of them had mold spots we were told to cut off. We didn't have a thermometer. We didn't have health inspections. We just cooked and bagged as fast as possible." The post included a photo of the freezer, showing a tower of boxes stamped with Cisco logos. It got 41,000 upvotes before being mysteriously removed by moderators. The user's account was deleted the same day. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe someone made a phone call, because by late 2021, Jimmy's team had started scrubbing. A data analyst on Twitter named Comms3SiptWatcher began archiving MrBeast Burger's social media posts and noticed something strange. Between September and November, over 60 Instagram posts had been deleted. Not hidden, not archived, deleted. Most of them were from the first 6 months of launch, posts with comment sections full of complaints. Took 3 hours to arrive and was ice cold. "This is garbage. Never ordering again." The posts with positive comments stayed up. The negative ones? Gone. @ReciptWatcher compiled a thread with screenshots of the missing posts, timestamps, and URLs that now led to 404 pages. "This isn't damage control," he wrote. "This is evidence destruction." The thread went viral. Jimmy's team didn't acknowledge it. They pivoted. In December 2021, MrBeast Burger launched a new marketing campaign with a giveaway. Order a burger, tag us, and you could win $10,000. Suddenly, the subreddit was flooded with glowing reviews. New accounts. Generic captions. "Best burger ever. Worth every penny." The skeptics pointed out that most of these accounts were days old, with no post history. The hype drowned them out. Jimmy's algorithm was stronger than the truth. But the truth doesn't disappear. It metastasizes. By early 2022, the complaints had evolved into something VDC and Jimmy couldn't ignore: lawsuits. In March, a woman in Pennsylvania filed a class action suit claiming she'd been misled by advertising that showed fresh ingredients in professional kitchens, when in reality her burger came from a decrepit Applebee's basement. The case sought $5 million in damages. It was quietly settled out of court in August for an undisclosed sum, with an NDA attached. Then, in June, a Florida man sued after finding a metal shaving in his burger, claiming it chipped his tooth. That case was also settled privately. No public records, no statements, just silence and sealed documents. And still, MrBeast Burger kept expanding. By July 2022, it had 1,700 locations worldwide, including spots in Dubai, London, and Australia. Jimmy tweeted, "We're taking over the planet." The replies were a war zone. "Taking over with food poisoning. Delete this in your burgers." Then came the breaking point. On September 14, 2022, a TikTok user named EuroFoodReviews posted a 47-second video that would change everything. He'd ordered from 3 different MrBeast Burger locations in Los Angeles on the same day. All 3 burgers arrived cold. All 3 had the same limp, gray patty. All 3 tasted, in his words, like cafeteria punishment. But the kicker? He'd cross-checked the addresses. All 3 orders came from the same kitchen. a ghost facility in Inglewood operating under 5 different restaurant names. "You're not ordering from MrBeast Burger," he said into the camera. "You're ordering from a warehouse pretending to be 5 restaurants." The video had 8.3 million views in 2 days. Jimmy's team went into crisis mode. They didn't deny it. They didn't clarify. They just stopped posting about the burgers. For 2 months, MrBeast's social media went silent on MrBeast Burger. No promotions, no giveaways, no mentions. And then, quietly, the deletions accelerated. By November 2022, a digital forensics researcher named Data Graveyard had built a bot that crawled MrBeast Burger's Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter accounts every 6 hours, archiving every post, every comment, every reply. What he found wasn't just suspicious. It was systematic. Between November 1st and December 18th, 2022, a total of 127 posts had been deleted across all platforms. Not random posts, specific ones. Posts from the first year of operation. Posts where the top comments mentioned cold food, missing items, or refund requests. Posts where customers tagged health departments or used words like scam and lawsuit. The pattern was surgical. Data Graveyard published his findings in a Google Doc titled The MrBeast Burger Memory Hole, complete with timestamps, archive links, and side-by-side screenshots showing the posts before and after deletion. It was downloaded 74,000 times in the first week. Jimmy's team still said nothing. But Virtual Dining Concepts did. On December 20th, 2022, exactly 2 years after launch, BDC's Chief Operating Officer Thomas DeRosa gave an interview to Nation's Restaurant News. He was asked directly about the quality complaints. His answer? "Every restaurant has bad days. We're working with over 700 kitchens. You can't expect perfection at that scale." Then he pivoted. "But let's talk about the success. We've done over $100 million in sales. MrBeast Burger is the fastest growing virtual brand in history." Notice what he didn't say. He didn't dispute the complaints. He didn't promise improvements. He just pointed at the money. And the money kept rolling in even as the evidence piled up. In January 2023, a YouTube channel called The Food Investigators published a 41-minute documentary titled MrBeast Burger, a $100 million lie. The video was meticulous. They'd ordered from 22 different MrBeast Burger locations across 11 states, documenting every step. They used thermometers to measure the internal temperature of the patties. 8 out of 22 came in under 140 degrees Fahrenheit, below the FDA's safe minimum for ground beef. They tested the fries for oil saturation. 15 out of 22 exceeded 40% oil by weight, meaning they were more grease than potato. They even sent samples to a food lab in Michigan to test for preservatives. The results showed sodium benzoate and BHA levels consistent with frozen, institutional-grade products, not the fresh, never-frozen beef advertised on the app. The video ended with a single question displayed in white text on a black screen. If the food is this bad, why is MrBeast still selling it? The video got 4.7 million views in 3 days. Jimmy didn't respond. But something else happened. The video was demonetized within 48 hours. YouTube cited advertiser unfriendly content. The creator, a guy named Marcus Cho, posted a follow-up explaining that YouTube had flagged it for false claims about a public figure. Even though every test was documented with lab reports and timestamps, he appealed. The appeal was denied. They didn't just demonetize it, Marcus said in a frustrated TikTok. They shadow banned it. The algorithm killed it. He couldn't prove who made the complaint, but he had a theory. Because here's the thing about Jimmy Donaldson. He's not just a YouTuber. He's a platform. By early 2023, MrBeast was YouTube's golden child. His videos averaged 80 million views each. He was bringing in new advertisers, new demographics, new legitimacy to a site still haunted by the Logan Paul era. YouTube needed him. And when you're that valuable, you have leverage. You have back channels. You have lawyers who know which emails to send to which departments. Marcus never got an explanation for why his video was flagged. But within a week, 3 other channels that had posted MrBeast Burger exposés reported the same thing. Demonetized. Shadow banned. One creator, a woman named Jenna who ran a channel called Fast Food Forensics, said she received a cease and desist letter from a law firm representing a coalition of virtual dining partners. The letter didn't. mentioned Jimmy by name. It didn't need to. It accused her of defamatory statements that harm business partnerships and demanded she remove her video within 72 hours or face legal action. She took it down. "I can't afford a lawsuit," she said in a tearful video. "I'm just a person with a camera." The video had 340,000 views when she deleted it. The message was clear. Speak up, get silenced, but the silence couldn't hold forever. Because in March 2023, something unprecedented happened. Jimmy Donaldson, the man who'd spent 2 years ignoring every complaint, every lawsuit, every expose, finally broke. On March 8th, he posted a statement on Twitter. Not a video, not a press release, a tweet. "I've heard your complaints about MrBeast Burger. I'm taking this seriously. We're making changes." That was it. 18 words. No specifics, no apology, no acknowledgement of the deleted posts, the lawsuits, the food poisoning claims. Just a vague promise. The replies were savage. What changes? Deleting more evidence? 2 years too late, Jimmy. You made $100 million off garbage and now you take it seriously. But here's what most people missed. That same day, March 8th, 2023, MrBeast LLC filed a lawsuit in New York Southern District Court. Not against a customer, not against a critic, against virtual dining concepts. The complaint was 42 pages long, and it was vicious. Jimmy's lawyers accused VDC of breach of contract, trademark misuse, and willful negligence resulting in brand damage. They claimed VDC had failed to maintain quality standards, ignored repeated warnings from Jimmy's team, and prioritized expansion over execution. The lawsuit sought $100 million in damages. But here's the twist. Buried in paragraph 27, the filing included a stunning admission. Mr. Donaldson and his team made repeated attempts to address quality concerns starting in April 2021, including site visits, third-party audits, and direct communication with VDC leadership. These concerns were systematically ignored. Wait, read that again. April 2021. That's 3 months after launch, which means Jimmy knew the food was terrible 2 years before he said anything publicly. He knew in April 2021 when customers were posting photos of raw meat. He knew in June 2021 when the Facebook group hit 4,000 members. He knew in September 2021 when the anonymous ghost kitchen employee leaked those photos. And he stayed silent. He kept promoting. He kept expanding. He kept taking his 5% cut. The lawsuit confirmed what everyone had suspected. This wasn't ignorance, it was calculation. He let it run because it was profitable. And when the backlash finally got loud enough to threaten his brand, he didn't apologize. He sued. He flipped the script. Suddenly, Jimmy wasn't the villain. He was the victim. VDC was the villain. The ghost kitchens were the villain. The Cisco freezer patties were the villain. Jimmy? He was just a kid from North Carolina who'd been betrayed by his business partners. But the lawsuit revealed something even more damning. Exhibit C, page 12. An email dated August 3rd, 2021, from Jimmy's Director of Brand Partnerships, a guy named Jake Bjorn, to VDC's UO Thomas DeRosa. The subject line, urgent quality control crisis. The body of the email was blunt. We're getting hundreds of complaints per week. Customers are posting photos of undercooked meat, cold fries, and missing items. This is damaging the MrBeast brand. We need an immediate plan to address this or we'll have to consider pausing expansion. DeRosa's response, sent 4 hours later, was 2 sentences. We're aware of the isolated incidents. Expansion continues as planned. Isolated incidents. By August 2021, there were 11,000 posts in the MrBeast Burger victims Facebook group. Isolated. The email chain continued. On September 19, 2021, Jake sent another message. We've received 3 confirmed reports of food poisoning in the past 2 weeks. 1 customer in Ohio was hospitalized. We need to shut down the affected locations and investigate immediately. DeRosa's response, sent the next day. Our legal team advises against acknowledging these claims publicly. We'll handle it internally. Translation, deny, delay, settle quietly, move on. And that's exactly what they did. The Ohio woman's lawsuit was settled for $18,000 in November 2021, with an NDA attached. The public never heard about it. Until now. Because Jimmy's lawsuit made all of this public record. And here's where it gets even darker. The lawsuit also included internal Slack messages between Jimmy's team and VDC from January 2022. In one exchange, a VDC regional manager named Todd Fenwick wrote, "We're losing money on quality control. If we spend more on better ingredients and stricter audits, the margins disappear. We're running at 8% profit per order as it is. Jimmy's cut is 5%. That leaves us with 3% to cover operations, logistics, and platform fees. We can't afford to fix this." Jake Bjorn replied, "Then we need to reduce the number of locations and focus on quality over quantity." Todd's response, "Not an option. We have commitments to 2,400 kitchens by end of Q2. If we pull back now, we're in breach with our operators." So there it was. The business model was fundamentally broken. BDC had overexpanded so aggressively that they couldn't afford to make the food good. And Jimmy knew it. His team knew it. But they kept going. Because stopping meant admitting failure, and admitting failure meant losing money. The lawsuit dropped on March 8, 2023. By March 10th, BDC filed a countersuit. 63 pages. They accused Jimmy of willful misrepresentation, breach of exclusivity, and defamation. Their argument? That Jimmy had approved every major decision, from the kitchen partnerships to the supply chain to the marketing materials. That he personally tasted and signed off on the frozen patties in December 2020 during a product test in Los Angeles. That he'd been paid $8.7 million in royalties between 2020 and 2023 and never once asked for his contract to be paused. That he promoted the brand in 14 different YouTube videos, racking up a combined 680 million views, driving sales through his influence while knowing the product was substandard. BDC's lawyers even included screenshots of deleted Instagram posts, pulled from web archives, showing Jimmy holding a MrBeast Burger with the caption, "Honestly, the best burger I've ever had." The post was from February 2021, 4 months after customers started complaining. BDC's counterclaim sought $200 million in damages for brand harm and lost revenue caused by Mr. Donaldson's public disparagement. The legal war was on, and both sides were about to get bloody. But while the lawyers fought in court, something else was happening online. The deletions didn't stop. They accelerated. Between March and July 2023, Data Graveyard's bot detected 204 additional deleted posts across MrBeast Burger's social media accounts. But now it wasn't just old posts, it was recent ones. Posts from 2023, posts where customers mentioned the lawsuit, posts where people asked, "Is this still safe to eat?" One particularly telling deletion, on April 12, 2023, a customer in Seattle posted a photo of her MrBeast Burger receipt on Instagram, tagging the brand. The receipt showed she paid $23.47 for a single combo meal. Her caption, "This is insane. $23 for cold fries and a burger that tastes like cardboard. Never again." The post had 1,400 likes and 89 comments, most of them agreeing with her. Within 19 hours, the post was gone. Not from her account, from MrBeast Burger's tagged photos. Instagram allows brands to hide tagged posts from their profile without notifying the user. It's a quiet form of censorship, and MrBeast Burger was using it religiously. Data Graveyard estimated that between April and June 2023, over 800 tagged posts had been hidden from the brand's profile. "They're not just deleting their own posts anymore," he tweeted. "They're erasing you." On July 29, 2023, at 11:47 a.m. Eastern Time, MrBeast Burger's official Twitter account posted something that would become the most ratioed tweet in the brand's history. It was a photo of a glistening burger, professionally lit, sitting on a wooden board with a small American flag toothpick jabbed through the top. The caption read, "Quality you can taste, MrBeast Burger. Order now." Within minutes, the replies became a digital firing squad. "You're getting sued by your own founder. This is a crime scene, not a burger. How much did you pay the photographer to make food poisoning look good?" The tweet stayed up for exactly 4 hours and 18 minutes before disappearing. But by then, it had been screenshot and shared across Reddit, TikTok, and Instagram. The deletion didn't erase it. It amplified it. Because every time they deleted something, they proved the critics right. They were hiding. And people started asking the obvious question. If the food had actually improved, why not let the reviews speak for themselves? Why the constant scrubbing? Why the lawsuits? Why the silence? The answer came on August 15, 2023, in a deposition transcript that leaked to Bloomberg Law. Jimmy Donaldson had been deposed as part of the VDC countersuit. The transcript was 178 pages, but one exchange on page 94 told you everything you needed to know. VDC's attorney, a woman named Ellen Kovach, asked Jimmy directly, Mr. Donaldson, when did you first become aware that customers were complaining about the quality of MrBeast Burger? Jimmy's answer, according to the transcript, I don't recall the exact date. Kovach pressed, was it in 2021? Jimmy, possibly. Kova, was it before or after you posted an Instagram story in March 2021 calling MrBeast Burger the best fast food in America? Silence. Then, I don't recall. Kovach wasn't done. Mr. Donaldson, you've stated in your lawsuit that you made repeated attempts to fix quality issues starting in April 2021, but you continued to promote the brand publicly for 2 more years. Can you explain that contradiction? Jimmy's answer, I trusted my team to handle operations. My role was marketing. Kovach, so you marketed a product you knew was defective. Jimmy's lawyer objected. But the damage was done. The transcript leaked. And the internet had its smoking gun. Reddit's r/MrBeast subreddit, which had spent 2 years oscillating between defense and skepticism, finally turned. A post titled Jimmy Lied Under Oath hit 67,000 upvotes in 6 hours. The top comment, he knew the food was poison and kept selling it. This isn't a betrayal by VDC. This is a betrayal by Jimmy. The tide had shifted. But Jimmy's team had one more card to play. On September 3, 2023, MrBeast posted a video titled, I surprised 100 people with free burgers. It was classic Jimmy. Big smiles. Emotional reactions. Lots of cash giveaways. But buried in the middle of the video, at the 8-minute mark, there was a 22-second segment where Jimmy addressed the controversy directly. Look, he said, standing in front of a MrBeast Burger pop-up tent at a charity event. I know some of you have had bad experiences. I'm sorry. We're fixing it. But I want you to know, I eat this food, I believe in it, and we're not stopping until it's perfect. The comments section was disabled. The like-to-dislike ratio, which YouTube no longer displays publicly but third-party plugins can estimate, was reportedly 40% dislikes. The video got 52 million views in a week, but the narrative didn't change. Because the very next day, September 4th, a new lawsuit dropped. This time, it wasn't Jimmy suing VDC or VDC suing Jimmy. It was a customer, a 34-year-old father of 2 from Fort Worth, Texas, named Daniel Ramirez. His lawsuit, filed in Texas State Court, accused both MrBeast LLC and Virtual Dining Concepts of negligence, fraud, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The story, laid out in the complaint, was horrifying. On June 12, 2023, Daniel ordered MrBeast burgers for his family through DoorDash. His 7-year-old daughter ate half of her burger before complaining of stomach pain. By 9 p.m. that night, she was vomiting. By midnight, she was in the ER with severe food poisoning. The hospital report, attached as Exhibit A, confirmed salmonella. The likely source, according to the attending physician's notes, undercooked ground beef. Daniel's daughter spent 2 nights in the hospital. The medical bills totaled $11,340. Daniel contacted MrBeast Burger's customer service. According to the lawsuit, he received an automated email offering a $10 credit toward his next order. He escalated to VDC directly. No response. He reached out to MrBeast's business email listed on his YouTube channel. No response. So he sued. The lawsuit sought $250,000 in damages. But more importantly, it demanded something else. A full public audit of every MrBeast Burger location, conducted by an independent food safety inspector, with results published online. It was the first lawsuit that wasn't about money. It was about accountability. And that's when the deletions became something more than suspicious. They became coordinated. On September 8, 2023, a journalist named Kara Feldman at The Verge published an investigation titled The Digital Erasure of MrBeast Burger. She'd been tracking the deletions for 8 months using a combination of web archives, third-party monitoring tools, and testimonies from former social media managers. Her findings were damning. Since January 2023, MrBeast Burger had deleted a total of 1,147 posts across Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. That's an average of 143 posts per month, but the deletions weren't random. Kara had analyzed the content of each deleted post using archived data. 91% of them contained at least one comment mentioning negative keywords: cold, raw, sick, refund, scam, lawsuit, poison. The posts that stayed up? 87% of them were promotional giveaways or celebrity collaborations with comments locked. The pattern was undeniable. They weren't managing a brand. They were curating a lie. But here's where Kara's investigation got explosive. She'd interviewed 3 former employees of MrBeast's media company, Night Media, under condition of anonymity. All 3 confirmed that starting in February 2023, they'd been given a weekly task: scrub negative content from MrBeast Burger's social media. One former employee, who Kara referred to as Source B, described the process. "We had a shared spreadsheet with links to posts, tweets, and comments that mentioned the lawsuits or quality issues. Every Monday, we'd go through the list and delete or hide them. We were told it was brand protection, but it felt like a cover-up." Source B also revealed that they'd been instructed to report YouTube videos that criticized MrBeast Burger for misinformation, even if the videos contained factual information. "We had a template email we'd send to YouTube's trust and safety team. It accused the creators of defamation. Most of the time, YouTube would demonetize the video or age restrict it, which killed the algorithm." When asked why they complied, Source B said, "Because I needed the job, and because I thought maybe Jimmy didn't know. Maybe it was middle management going rogue. But after the deposition transcript leaked, I realized he knew everything." Kara's article dropped on September 8th. By September 10th, it had been shared over 400,000 times on Twitter. Mainstream outlets picked it up. The New York Times ran a follow-up titled "The Influencer Accountability Gap." Forbes published an op-ed asking, "Can MrBeast survive this?" And for the first time, other YouTubers started speaking up. Ethan Klein from H3 Podcast dedicated an entire episode to the scandal, calling it the biggest betrayal of audience trust in YouTube history. Philip DeFranco covered it on his news show, saying, "This isn't about bad burgers. This is about a systematic erasure of criticism." Even Markiplier, who rarely comments on drama, tweeted, "If you screw over your fans, you don't get to delete the evidence and pretend it didn't happen." The walls were closing in, and on September 18th, 2023, Jimmy Donaldson did something he almost never does. He went silent. No tweets, no Instagram stories, no YouTube uploads. For 2 weeks, the biggest creator on the platform disappeared. When he returned, it wasn't with an apology. It was with an announcement. On October 2nd, 2023, MrBeast posted a video titled, "I'm giving away 100 cars." It was 16 minutes of spectacle. Crying winners. Revving engines. Zero mention of the burgers. The comment section was flooded with variations of the same question. Are we just ignoring the lawsuit? What about the food poisoning? Address the burger situation, coward. But Jimmy didn't. He just kept uploading. On October 15th, I built Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. On October 29th, extreme hide and seek for $100,000. Each video got 60 to 80 million views. The algorithm didn't care about the lawsuits. It cared about watch time. And Jimmy's watch time was immaculate. He was doing what he'd always done, burying controversy under content, outrun the scandal with spectacle. And for a lot of his audience, it worked. The kids didn't care. The parents didn't know. The hype machine kept spinning. But the lawsuits didn't stop. By November 2023, 5 more customers had filed individual claims against MrBeast LLC and VDC, all citing food poisoning or severe quality issues. The Daniel Ramirez case was gaining traction, with a Texas judge denying VDC's motion to dismiss in early December. Discovery was moving forward, which meant more depositions, more internal emails, more evidence that would eventually become public. And then, on December 11th, 2023, something unprecedented happened. VDC's founder, Robert Earl, gave an interview to Restaurant Business magazine. He was 75 years old, exhausted, and apparently done playing defense. When asked about the lawsuits, he said, "Look, we built something ambitious. Did we make mistakes? Sure. But Jimmy knew what he was signing up for. He wanted scale. We gave him scale. You can't have 700 locations and expect Michelin star quality. That's not how ghost kitchens work." Then the reporter asked the question everyone wanted answered. "Why do you think MrBeast Burger's social media team has deleted so many posts?" Earl paused. Then he said, "You'd have to ask Jimmy's people. We don't control his accounts. The implication was clear. The deletions weren't VDC, they were Jimmy. And that's when the final piece fell into place. On December 19, 2023, exactly 3 years after MrBeast Burger launched, a Twitter account called Archivanon posted a thread that went nuclear. They'd been scraping deleted MrBeast Burger posts for over a year, and it compiled them into a publicly accessible database. Over 1,200 deleted posts, searchable by date, platform, and keyword. The thread included a link to the database and a single sentence. They tried to erase the evidence. We saved it all. Within 48 hours, the database had been accessed 890,000 times. News outlets downloaded it. Lawyers in the ongoing lawsuits subpoenaed it. It became exhibit material. The erasure had failed. And the message was clear. You can't delete the internet. You can only prove you tried. So here's a verdict. The dark lesson that no one wants to say out loud. Jimmy Donaldson didn't fail because he sold bad burgers. Plenty of celebrities have launched mediocre food brands and walked away unscathed. He failed because he tried to pretend it never happened, because he spent 2 years scrubbing evidence, silencing critics, and hiding behind lawyers while his fans got sick. Because when you build an empire on trust, on the illusion that you're the good guy who gives away money and changes lives, the betrayal cuts deeper. The MrBeast Burger disaster isn't a story about food. It's a story about what happens when influence becomes indistinguishable from manipulation. When scale matters more than safety, when profit margins override basic human decency. Jimmy made an estimated $15 million from MrBeast Burger between 2020 and 2023, according to financial disclosures in the VDC lawsuit. $15 million from frozen patties and ghost kitchens and deleted Instagram posts. And now, as the lawsuits pile up and the database of deleted evidence circulates and his once unshakable reputation cracks under the weight of his own silence, the question isn't whether he knew. The depositions confirmed he knew. The question is whether he cared. And the deletions suggest he didn't. Not until it threatened the brand. Not until the algorithm started to turn. Not until the money was at risk. On January 4th, 2024, MrBeast Burger quietly ceased operations. No press release, no farewell post. The app just stopped accepting orders. The Instagram account went dark. The Twitter account was deleted entirely. One day it was there. The next, it was gone. Just like the 1,200 posts. Just like the complaints. Just like the evidence. Jimmy never addressed it directly, he just moved on to the next video. I spent 50 hours buried alive. 73 million views. The comments didn't mention the burgers. The algorithm had moved on. But the lawsuits are still active. The database is still online. And somewhere in Fort Worth, Texas, Daniel Ramirez's daughter still remembers the night she spent in the hospital because a YouTube star wanted to sell burgers without caring if they were safe. That's the cost of deleting evidence. You can erase the posts, but you can't erase the harm. And you can't outrun the truth forever. Eventually, someone saves the receipts. Eventually, the story gets told. And when it does, the world sees you for what you really are. Not a philanthropist, not a visionary, just another rich guy who thought he was too big to be held accountable. Until he wasn't.